Okay. Yeah, it's going. Okay, I just want to get centered a little bit. Okay. Welcome to Satsang. Today is going to be a little different. The subscribers to these videos has been growing, and it's quite several thousand people watch them daily. And from that has resulted a lot of emails. And also more people who are listening to these videos, who are reading books, who are studying, but they're getting confused and frustrated because although they have the knowledge intellectually, yet they're not living it. So we're going to go into some examples and some techniques during the session how to experience more directly, okay? Okay, so I would like to have your full attention. Now, these are very long letters, but I'm only going to read excerpts from each one just to get an idea what people have been asking and what we're going to deal with. Okay, 1. Now I have found that no amount of YouTube videos, books, teachings actually have helped me. They have added to my knowledge library in my mind. I have a good mental understanding of these concepts, but I don't experience them. I have a good definition of the taste of the apple in my head, but rarely experience eating one, so to speak. What am I doing wrong? What do I need to do? Okay. Second, for years I have understood philosophically and experienced the how temporarily. And when I have the original philosophical understanding, I get an experience. These experiences never last longer than a few moments, and I'm always rolled back into the dream of what I seemingly identify in my life as I am me. Okay, I am confused. I want nothing more than truth. Life without it is completely meaningless. So how can I consciously choose to live a meaningful life? How can I choose to live a meaningless life? I can't and I don't want to. Yet I can't consciously choose to be liberated. That's what he put down. Frustration, in other words. Okay. Bear with me. 2 more, okay? But you get an idea how people are thinking.
I like it.
The same as us.
Okay. Seems like I'm stuck. I know the truth, but I'm not living it. I know you address that subject in many of your YouTube videos. Every evening I'm watching your videos, reading, and I don't know how to wake up. I understand there is no me. I really understand everything intellectually, and I agree. But I'm very frustrated. I don't know what to do anymore. And this makes me very sad. Okay, and I'll read you just one more. I'm full of spiritual teachings. Osho, Eckhart Tolle, you, and others. Just like you were before, really waking up. But I still don't know myself. It is just knowledge, not knowing in my heart. It is not my experience. I could write books about what I have learned and probably will sell well, but I have experienced nothing. Okay. Just some notes. Okay. Now, what do you think I feel about these emails that I get? And these are just a sample. I had about 200 just the last couple of weeks.
I would think that you're very excited.
Yes, I enjoy these emails. And you know why? One, they are learning to express themselves. Did you know that 20 years ago, people kept things inside and they never talked about it? Now it's coming open. Now they're telling you how we feel. And some people have called me, Burt, you're an idiot, this, and that. But it's okay. It's all part of the game, you see? And what's important is this, that only when you express something can you look at it. As long as you keep it inside, you can never look at it. And then you go slowly crazy and develop serious diseases, mental, emotional, and physical. Okay, why? Because they never express. So expression leads us to that next step, is that we can look at it and say, this is what I'm thinking, my God, you know. And then we can go from there. The interesting thing about all these questions is that there's always the idea we are going to wake up. And there is no waking up. Waking up is just a term used meaning, hey, smell the coffee, it's right here. You know, it's closer than your own breath, it's closer than your own skin. It's you that we're talking about. So today I'm going to call the awakening part the non-experience. Because you see, we always want an experience. Okay? But the truth is that you cannot experience the experiencer. For example, you know, what is the true nature of you? Okay, it is pure awareness, which in this case I'm going to call the non-experience. So if I say to you, how do you know you exist? And then you say, because I know. And I'll say, well, okay, how do you know? And you say, because I'm aware. See, awareness is self-recognizing. But we never stop to realize that that's self-recognizing. We've taken it for granted. You see? And that is part of the miracle of waking up. Another important part, and one of the most important of all about the realization of that your self-awareness, is that it is self-organizing. And when you realize that it is self-organizing, it means that if you wanted to heal and you had the intention to heal, you will heal. But if you leave it up to this inner guidance, the pure awareness, if you leave it up to, it knows exactly what needs to be healed. And it goes right to the source. It doesn't just heal your symptoms, but it goes to the source of it, because it knows how to do it. But what happens is, with a lot of people who write, they want to know how to awaken. There's no way that you can ever know how, because the how is not your responsibility. In other words, the how is left up to that self-organizing awareness itself. This is the mystery, this is the wonder, and this is the beauty. Is that once we begin to trust that which we are, which is the awareness itself, you see, it takes care of everything. Everything. You know, I remember the first time I had my surgery, my left eye is about 70% blind, and my right eye is not too good. So I had surgery. When I had surgery, they implanted a lens that I can see from far, to be far-sighted, because I'm already short-sighted. But what happened is I lost the ability to read. And after the surgery, I couldn't read at all. So I went for exactly 6 months, because the operation was, February this year. And I couldn't read. And it was, sad. As a matter of fact, you all know Sylvia. She was visiting at the time. And she saw me go to the bathroom and not take a book with me. And she said, Bert, I was looking at your books and how beautiful they are, and you meticulously underlined all the phrases, and now you can't even read. And she had tears in her eyes, because she felt sad that I can't read anymore. But after a while, of course I had to accept it. After a while, it became, and I want to emphasize this to all of you listening to this, when I couldn't read anymore, it was a blessing in disguise, because I had to turn inward. I had to listen more to my inner knowing. I had to listen more to who I am, you see? So it came one time when I wanted to know how, if there's a healingness, that the self-awareness state, which I call non-experience, and I'll tell you why as we go along. And I talk to it, okay? I call it Holy Spirit, I call it blah, 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 but that's my thing. And then I felt very good when I gave in to this energy. And that night I had a dream that I'm reading. When I got up in the morning, I reached out for the teacher's manual, which is made up from the course, and I started reading. And as I started reading, after 3 pages, I thought, oh my God, I'm reading. And it never stopped since then. So that was a little miracle, but that came from what we're going to discover today, the miracle of allowing, okay? And I hope that we do this together, and you'll be able to understand how rich the within is, but it is not something. It is its own. You see, the way to start understanding this is picture the ocean. And there are tumultuous waves on its surface. So when you look at the ocean, you see all these waves. But as you go deep, 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 there's a silence in the bottom of the ocean. And as you reach the optimum floor of the ocean, it's just another world altogether. Well, picture that as the mind. You see? Now, within the mind, what happens, because we don't know when awareness starts, awareness never began. There's no beginning or end to awareness. We know that, right? That's pure awareness. That's your true nature. That's who you really are. From pure awareness comes consciousness. Consciousness is the mind. Thoughts, feelings, ideas, past, present, future, time and space, all is contained within consciousness. So there's a fine line when awareness leaves off and consciousness starts. Although the two are together. You know, when you know awareness, then you're at peace. Because whatever you're conscious of does not affect you anymore. But if you're not aware that awareness is there all the time, and it is your true nature, then you get caught in consciousness. And that's the frustration and the confusion and the need to control. I want to awaken, I want to understand. You see? But you cannot do that because there's nothing to understand. It is the real you is a non-experience. Once you get in touch with that, everything becomes clear. You see? So picture that from the bottom of our mind, let's say, there's like a floor, and there are small little bubbles, very, very small, almost insignificant. And as they rise, they become larger and larger and larger, these bubbles. The moment they reach the surface, they explode, these bubbles. And the moment they explode, it means you totally believe it to be true. Now, there's one thing that I realize, and I hope you're all slowly realizing this, is that nothing that the mind gives you is real. It's all imagination. The very nature of mind is thought. What is thought? An image. Just look at your thoughts. And the moment you look at your thoughts, you begin to see they're all images. All images. But you believe the image to be real. Why? Because it creates motion of energy the moment it explodes on the surface. This explosion is called motion of energy, or in other words, emotion. Okay? So all emotions are this motion of energy that are coming from these bubbles that you believe to be real. Well, the moment you believe something to be real, it takes hold of the body. And you feel it in your body instantly. You see? So when you feel agitation, you feel your heart pounding, you feel a nervous stomach, this is all coming from what you're conscious of, believe it or not. You see? So what we need to do to find who we are is not to start reading a lot of books, because they all tell you the same thing, but you take it literally, you see? The book tell you, you need to wake up and you need to understand that there's only pure awareness, and we take these literally. We're not understanding that words are symbols. The Course calls them the symbols of symbols. They're just more images. So when you read too much, you begin to think you know, and that is the worst thing that can happen to you. Because there's nothing to know. And now I'm hoping that tonight we can prove that. And when you realize that there's nothing to know and you relax into that, that doesn't mean there's no knowledge. There is knowledge, but the truth of you is not something that to know as a knowledge. This is why, the Garden of Eden, you've heard of the Garden of Eden in the Bible? It says, and God said to them, He says, you are free, you are moving naked, there's no wrong, there's no right. It's absolutely, you're happy, you're blissful, you're joyous. It's a Garden of Eden. But don't eat from the tree of knowledge. You see? Which is the tree of good and bad duality. So, because the moment you do, then of course you start to suffer. Okay? So this is the understanding. But again, the Garden of Eden it's a story to help us understand. So, where were we? So what we need to do is simply go back to that state that is a non-experience. Now, how do you do that? There are many ways you can do that. One of them is sitting very still and watching your thoughts, just like people going by. Just see the thoughts going by, but you remain a witness. This is very important. This means that you don't identify at all. And then when you've been there for about 2 or 3 minutes watching, and you're still not caught in any thought, just watching it going by, which is a great meditation in itself, you say to yourself, I wonder what the next thought is going to be. And you stop. And then there's a waiting. And in that waiting is a gap between thoughts. That's who you are. Now, if you can allow, not experience, but allow that gap 2 or 3 times during a meditation, you begin to feel a joy. You didn't know where it came from. It has no purpose, it has no reason. You begin to feel good without knowing why, and you don't even care about why, because you feel too good to bother. You see, it's a very clean, pure feeling. So, another one that we can do now, so that as I continue speaking, you'll totally understand very clearly. And those of you watching this video, and I'm sorry that I'm using an inferior part of tape here, but can't help it. Just close your eyes also, and let me guide you step by step. Okay? Now, as I guide you step by step, keep your eyes closed and feel out. Remember, when I say non-experience, it means this. It is a feeling, not an emotional feeling. It is a feeling because it is awareness. But it is not a thought. Okay? Okay, now, you're sitting with your eyes closed. What do you see when your eyes are closed? You see darkness, right? Wrong. That darkness is imagination. Everybody seems to see darkness when they close their eyes, but there is no darkness. Please keep listening. If you were to fall asleep and you start dreaming, don't the pictures appear very real to you? Where is the darkness gone? Your eyes are still closed. One time I had a blind man from birth come to my satsangs, and he felt very comfortable walking around, knows where to sit. He almost knew where the washroom was. So one woman said to him, how do you know, how to move around when you live in darkness? And then he looked at her, with his closed eyes, blind eyes. He was wearing dark glasses. He said, what is darkness? He said. Now this is a blind man saying, what is darkness? Okay, so please understand that whatever we experience, we are experiencing our imagination, our mind. Now, what can you do? Because that's called ego, okay? It's taking over. So what do you do with this darkness? Only one thing, allow it. The ego can't stand allowing. It can't stand it. It wants to resist, it wants to control. But right now I'm asking you, allow this darkness. Allow it completely. And as you begin to allow this darkness, as you begin to allow it to just be what it is, it doesn't matter, you begin to relax. As you begin to relax more and more, deeper and deeper, letting go and relaxing, but still paying attention, you reach another point called silence. Now silence means this, that you can still hear birds speaking. You can still hear the sounds outside. You can still know what's going on. You can feel everything that's going on. But there's silence because you're no longer caught in thinking. When you begin to allow the silence to take over, then you reach another depth from silence. And now the silence becomes tranquility. Tranquility is a beautiful state. And already you're beginning to feel really good. You haven't done anything. It is a non-experience. But you're feeling that tranquility. But you stay with it. You allow the tranquility to take over. And now you move even deeper into that tranquility. And it turns into something else. It becomes peace. Peace. Real peace. Wonderful peace. Such peace that you can feel it all over at that particular point. Now this peace goes even deeper still and becomes innocence. Innocence is that quality where there is no right or wrong, there is not good or bad, there is no should or shouldn't, there is only what is. It's an innocence, it's a purity, it's a beauty, yet combined with wisdom. And then from that innocence comes joy, a feeling of joy. It is not something that you can put your finger on, but it's a feeling, it's a very alive feeling. Just like watching a 1-year-old child, radiant, glorious, happy, but there's nothing happening. He's not thinking anything. You see? Now, stay with eyes closed just for a while longer, please. And you have understood so far that everything is within you as non-experience, isn't it? Now that's the awakened state, when you realize that the joy is you. The joy is your true nature. That is all that's necessary to wake up. You realize fully that is who you are, your truth. Okay, now slowly open your eyes. Okay, now did we get an understanding how everything is within? How all you need to do is silence the thinking mind and you come up with everything? All you need to do is keep going deeper and deeper, but remaining alert in your pure essence, in your pure awareness. And then it will lead you to your true nature. Is there anything to understand? Only to feel. Is there anything to think about or figure out? Only to feel the moment as it is. You see? So it's a matter of going deep into what is. See, the ego, that part in us that wants to be in control, is this. It becomes part of our mind and it completely controls us. So that even if you read something like the awakening is very blissful, immediately the mind says, oh, how I wish I had that bliss. You see, you already lost it. The moment you develop a need to wake up spiritually, you already blocked it. You see? because it has nothing to do with achieving or getting. You are already it, this moment. But when a person comes from the mind and they say, and they listen to a teacher saying, you're already it, they get frustrated. What do you mean? I haven't got it. You see? Because they do not realize the control, the seeking that they have that's taking over all the time. All they have to do is take a deep breath and just be who you are. It's always here. It's always now. It's always this moment. It's not achievable. It's not attainable. It is the very nature of your being. You see? It is the now itself. Now there's a beautiful thing when you begin to realize that the non-experience, which is really pure awareness, but it is a non-experience because, like I said, like, for example, you realize that you exist and you say, of course I know, because I'm aware that I exist. But you don't realize that your nature is awareness, recognizing it. You have taken it for granted. So we need to look at what is all the time, really look at the miracle and wonder that we already are, you see? Because when we look at it, then something begins to wake up. Yeah, I'm not achieving anything. I'm simply getting in touch with what is at the moment. You see? But the most beautiful part is not the self-recognizing, which is holographic, because every fragment is the whole. Did you know that? Every fragment is the whole itself. You see? My little finger is a fragment, but it contains the whole hand. The whole hand contains the arm contains the body. This body contains the universe. It's made up of fire, earth, air, and water. You see, all the elements. There's nothing that is separate from anything else. Everything is holographic. This means that the awareness that you are is the awareness of every living being on this earth. You see? And that's called love. You see? Because there is nothing that you can look at or get to know that is separate from you. See, because it's all the same. So, but the most part of the awareness that is beautiful is that it is self-organizing. I'll tell you something. Don't mind me mentioning myself, okay? But I have to give you an example that is real. 4 weeks ago, I lost a tooth munching on some nuts. And I had half a tooth dangling there. So I went to a dentist. And he said it's going to cost you between $4,000 to $5,000 to replace it. And I don't have $5,000. So anyway, so I called at the dentist and he said they all gave the same price. So I said, well, what can I do? Oh, I can go inward and talk to no experience and give it to awareness, and awareness will handle it. I gave it to pure awareness, to that which I really am. It took care of it because it is self-organizing. All I need is to give it the intention, and I empty my mind, and that's it. Well, to tell you the truth, it happened the day after, and I have the tooth now, and it didn't cost me a penny. Now you're going to ask me, how? Please don't. The how is God's business. It's the awareness business, not yours. Okay? I had a laptop. I'm on a roll right now. I had a laptop at Toshiba. I bought it a year ago. And not quite here, because it happened at the time after my surgery, so I couldn't see the keys, And Toshiba laptop, it's not a bad machine, but it's the keyboard is so dark you cannot see the keys, and I'm not a touch typist, so I have to see which one it is, but I couldn't use it. But I'm lazy, and I left it there, so I didn't bother with it. Well, I called after a couple of months, and I called Future Shop, and I said, could you take it back and exchange it? He says, no way, we cannot do that because we give you 14 days to exchange when you buy something. And you've already had it 9 months now, so there's no way. So fine. So I went in and I talked. I went into pure awareness. My intention is, what am I going to do with this? Help me. So fine. So the next day, I was doing my shopping over at Organic, Greens. And it's very close by, so I go there very often. But as I going to enter the door, there was this voice said, "Go to Future Shop." It's only a block away, you see. Go to Future Shop. I went there, and I still don't not clear about what I'm going to do. But it was so clear that I should go there. So I went there, and the manager was there this time. So I talked to him. And then I told him my story, and he happened to like me, so that's good. And before I know it, he said, "Oh, I'll exchange it. I'll exchange it." So the next day I went, I took it in, and the salesman showed me, he says, "Oh, this laptop that we have is close to Mac, it's so good." And he says, "And it's 4 times faster than your Toshiba." And I had the exchange done, it only cost me $50 difference. And even then I have an account with them anyway, so it didn't cost me anything either. So now I'm very happy with the laptop that I've got. But you see how magical, how wonderful it is when you start trusting the awareness that you are, you see? Now, also, I went to the library, the bus brought me down right in front of Blend's Coffee. And as soon as I got off the bus, this is another story, I hope you don't mind. But as soon as I got off the bus, I felt very inspired. And I always carry a pen and paper with me or a digital recorder. But this time I had pen and paper. So I went in Blend's Coffee and I said, "Oh, I'll get a soya latte and sit down." It's a beautiful place, nice chairs. And I thought I'd sit down and write what's coming through me. I don't want to lose it. But it was very cold, it was rainy, it was freezing. And as soon as I sat down to write, it wouldn't write at all. And my thought was to throw it away and go on my business. But then it reminded me, okay, which I called the Holy Spirit, reminded me, it said, "No, ask for guidance." So I went into pure awareness again. My intent is, what am I going to do about this? And I kid you not, this is the truth. And then I held my pen in my hand. Of course, my hand was warm, which made a difference too. But that's another excuse. But the point is that I did it for about a minute, and I said to myself, I'm going to do this and see what happens. And it started to write. And it wrote like when it was new, the pen was flowing. So now you said to, "But Burt, the thing stopped working. Couldn't you have done that?" I guess I could have, but I already kept you waiting, and I just didn't want to bother. And then I thought, "Oh, I'll use this one instead." So this is what's happening now. Okay, so. So what I'd like to do is, I'd like to show you how to apply this in your everyday life. Because you can apply it physically, materially, health-wise, or emotionally. You can apply it in many ways. Oh, there's another, how to apply it emotionally. There's another little story. I have to tell you this, because this has to do with the emotions. The Sunday before last, I was invited to spend a day with a couple. Some of you know this couple. They have come here to Satsang too. They've been doing the Course in Miracles for many years. They're a lovely, lovely couple. They've been married most of their life. And as I was at their place, I saw how beautiful they are. It was such a holy relationship. They really care for each other. They got along so well. And he was so funny, and I was laughing all the time. We had a wonderful day together. Absolutely wonderful. Okay, and I don't want to belabor the point. And then the evening came on, and I'm not driving anymore. I sold my car because I have peripheral vision problems. So they drove me all the way from Richmond, And as I entered the apartment, he was sleeping, and the lights, that's the cat, I mean. And the lights were out, and all of a sudden a feeling of aloneness came to me. I am so alone. And I never experienced that before. Well, I did, but not for quite a while. It was kind of new. And I became extremely sad. I was so sad. I didn't even feel like undressing or doing anything. So I sat down in my chair, and because the voice again said to me, use this sadness as a catalyst for greater growth, greater expansion. And I did. So I had the intention of a healing takes place. I went into silence, totally empty my mind. I can do that anytime. I can empty my mind for half an hour without thinking anything, at least most of the time. But this came because I've practiced a lot. So, and then what happened is after 2 minutes on the chair, Mushi jumped on my lap. And I was still dressed, and I had a nice jacket on, because I'm visiting people. So he started playing piano on my chest, and I thought it was so cute, but at the same time, I didn't want him to, because his claws are so sharp. And so I got him down, and he started running. And he became so joyous because he hadn't seen me all day. So I started running after him. And before I know it, we were playing. Then it occurred to me, my sadness is all gone. It's all just like that. You know? See? So you can apply this technique with everything. It is very, very important that you understand that your true nature is the non-thought part of you. Thinking is important because you have to deal with the world. The world is made up of thought. It's a dream world. The world is not real. We all know that. Okay? But you still have to deal with the world. Okay? So you need the mind to deal with the world. You need thought to deal with the world, especially if you use constructive imagination. It's very, very helpful. Okay? Because the mind is made up of one law, the law of attraction. Okay? I know they called it the secret, but it's not really a secret. The real secret is pure awareness, who you really are. Pure awareness, which is the real secret, is a no thing. Okay? Now this is where the ego gets very frightened. It's nothing. But from nothing comes everything. Do you understand? For example, people say, yeah, energy created everything. No. There's something higher than energy. That is the immovable truth. That is the infallible, unchangeable isness. You see, which the mind cannot understand. It's too much of a mystery. But from it comes everything else. You see, energy came from pure awareness, from being. You see, and then from energy came the world, human beings, etc., etc. Okay. So, okay, where do we go from here? So now I'd like for you to learn how to use this, but you have to know that your true nature is awareness. Now, do you know how to experience the pure state of awareness? Now, you cannot experience it because the pure state is experiencing. You got it? For example, he says, can you experience the pure state of awareness? No, you cannot. Because it is it that's experiencing everything. Right now, I'm talking to you. It is the pure awareness called Burt, the oneness, which is doing the talking and sharing, and the same with you. You see? It's all oneness doing everything. See? And the more you trust it, the greater the power, the beauty that you have, because you're trusting that which you really are, the real God-given power. So before we apply this, does anybody have any pain or any discomfort or anything at all right now? And okay, we'll do another trick. Since everybody is so perfectly healthy here, let's do one more. How many of you believe everything I've told you? Come here. Yeah, come here. Come here. Okay. Okay. Now what I'd like you to do is this. Place here, there's a crease. Right? You're going to create a miracle now. Okay, there's another crease here. Now make sure that they meet. Put your hands like this. Do you see, here those of you on, do you see that this finger is longer than this?
Mm-hmm.
You see it?
Yes.
Okay, now you're going to make this one longer. Okay? Make that intention right now. Look at this finger. Okay, remove your hands so that we can start again. Move with this. Now you're going to make this finger longer. We had that one longer, but you're going to make this one longer. Okay, got it? Okay. Now, close your eyes. Focus on my finger. Now, feel the finger and the forehead at the same time. Think of nothing else but the feeling of the finger and the forehead being together. There's nothing but that. Only that. Feel the pressure, the moisture of the finger, or pulsating of the finger or the forehead. Feeling okay. Now let go. Now open your eyes. Now you see what happened. I'm still holding there so that you remain focused on there. Now what has happened is you entered pure state of awareness. When I was putting the finger there, you weren't thinking. You were feeling my finger. Mm-hmm. And please know the difference between feeling and thinking. Thinking never works unless it's creative thought for some ideas. What works, always feeling. Now, this finger, you've made it longer. Now, press again. Make sure you do the same thing again. Okay, good. See how much longer it is now?
That's amazing.
See? Okay. You see, the power that we have is unbelievable. You're so trusting and beautiful, you see, and when you have that, that's one of the great gifts, because there's an innocence. Trust. Thank you. See?
And it's that innocence that you went into when you go inward, right?
It's an innocence, yes. It's just like a child trusting its parents and believe that they can do no wrong. You trust the pure awareness, God, the God that you are, the same way. You see? And then you can do almost anything. Almost anything. This also, when you learn to use this, you can help other people to heal too. And you can also do it by remote control. Got it? Like many people ask me, Burt, give me energy, Or, so I sit down and go silent and I do that. But don't get into the habit of asking me to do that. My time is very limited. But this is something that you can do yourself. Okay? But the power again is immense. Aren't you surprised when you saw the figures? Yeah. Yeah, and yet you did it the same way, right? To make sure that the crease meets is there. So, see? So, okay, now are there any questions? Please know the difference between thinking and feeling. Okay? Thought is, okay, what is the difference between them? Let's discuss this. Thought is always about it. Just like some person says, I want to learn to be myself. I want to be myself. And then they said, oh, but I was so self-conscious. But all I wanted to do was to be myself. Yes, because you wanted to be yourself. That's why you were self-conscious. Because yourself doesn't need to be anything. All you need to do is be. Got it? You see, people suffer from self-consciousness and fear and many problems because they have an image of themselves, how they think they are, and that image has solidified to the point where the ego has taken over. And now they live constantly from an image. But this image keeps giving them negative thoughts. It has to, because everything is unreal that you're thinking about you. It has to be negative. So then you get to see, I want to get rid of these negative thoughts, and they increase even more. It becomes a vicious circle, because all you need to do is allow, and see it as an illusion, as imagination. You see, it's not who you are. So thought is always about it. It is never it. Let's talk about God. Can you really talk about God? Oh, you can. You come up with all kinds of interpretations. But God cannot be discussed, because God defies any word that you can put in it. You can't. Just the truth is the same thing. It's all the same thing. You cannot define it. You cannot label it. But feeling. Now, the moment I say feeling, people think I'm talking about emotional feeling. Okay? No, emotional feeling is still part of the thinking process. Okay? What has been buried inside you, motion of energy. Emotions are not real. They are images that you have made real. You see, and now they become a habit pattern. And that's what a reaction is. Reaction. An action that becomes reacted all the time. It's a pattern. Okay? But feeling is here. It is now, all the time. When I touched your forehead with my finger, you were feeling my finger. The moment you allow a feeling to be, and be one with the feeling, you stop thinking. That's why love is so beautiful. You see? Because love takes you, there's an absence of self through love. When you love someone, okay, immediately you disappear, and they are, you see, you are with them, you're in touch with them. You are one with them. You are feeling them. You see, not necessarily thinking them. You are feeling them. So are we clear about feeling and thinking? Yeah. And the whole point for a peaceful, happy life is to feel more, think less. You see, the mind always wants to understand, always wants to figure it out, always wants to just dwell in it. And all you end up doing is giving it more validity, giving it more reality. You see? So, yeah.
The question, and this could be an interpretation of feel, but when, for me, the deepest places are where there is no one feeling. There is just that. In other words, there is no duality of I'm feeling. It's I'm not there. There's just sensation that has an awareness with it.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. And you're not thinking about it. Yes,
right.
You're being it. Yeah, you're going to...
So just as an example, let's say the smell of coffee.
Yeah.
Or the smell of fresh baked.
Yeah, that's
bread.
not a thought, that's a feeling. Yeah, too.
But does that not come from previous memory, which is...
If it comes from a previous memory, then yes, and a thought has solidified and says, oh, I like it, and becomes your interpretation. But if you smell something, and it's new to you, for example, and you love the smell of it, okay, you are feeling it. You're not thinking about it.
So like the smell of coffee in the morning.
Yeah.
So that's not a new...
It's not new, but it can still be new to you at the moment, because there is, you see, enjoyment or joy is always new. Did you know that? Yeah, that's why it's permanent. See, that which is permanent is there's a, it's not stop, start, stop, start. It is continuous. It's there all the time. Now, if you tell people that your nature is joy, most people, maybe 99%, would say, you're crazy. I've never known joy. Okay? And yet the true nature is joy. See, all you have to do is simply do a meditation like we did and go deep, and you begin to, as you relax and you go into it, you'll find this feeling arising of joy. Joy is you when there is no thought, when there is no thinking involved. See, but as long as thinking about it comes in, now you might say, but I can't help thinking about it. So what do you do in a case like that?
That's fine.
That's fine, isn't it?
So you don't help it. So you just are aware that there's this part that is struggling and can't help it, and what's it doing?
Right. And it's all imagination anyway. So you allow it. And that's something that the ego can't stand to hear. Allow. It hates it. It wants to control it. It wants to change it. It wants to do things with it. You see?
So the letters you read earlier, that was all thinking about it.
All of them.
They're
All the
all the
letters
same.
that I read to you and all the hundreds that I didn't read to you, they're all saying the same thing. They've read so much spiritual books, so there's nothing wrong with that, it's beautiful, you know. But they think that they know the truth because they've read it. And you cannot know truth by reading it. You see, talk about love. Love is truth, okay? And now you might be, you know, you like the idea of love. You love watching romance, you like to write novels, you sing songs, you probably create some beautiful songs about it. You become, they call it, hey, Jan, the expert, you know, love writer.
Mm-hmm.
But you see, the truth is you don't know love until you feel love. Got it? The only time you can know love is not how much knowledge you have about it and how you see it in relationships and how it reflects, but how much you feel it in you. And to the extent that you feel it, you can know the love. And this, you see, love is unlimited. You know, the purpose of life is one. And whether you're religious or not, it doesn't matter. There's only one purpose in life, and that's unconditional love. That's called home. That's returning home, really. You see, that's our true home. And there's no limit to love. And unconditional love means you are no more. You are just love. Now, when you hear the words, you are no more, you go, well, I don't want that. Thinking that somehow, by disappearing, you're not going to be anymore. But that's not possible. Because it's all holographic. You are everyone. Are you understanding something as mysterious as this? You're all getting it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. You can never disappear. You can only disappear from your ego. But you're always there. You see, in your awareness, because awareness is always appearing as you. You know, you're a fragment of the whole, but at the same time you are the whole. And you feel the whole to the extent that you stop identifying with just a fragment. So the moment you stop identifying as a fragment, you begin to, the whole begins to take over. And you see it as a full expression. Okay, now how do you begin to apply for something that you like to get? There are 3 steps to get what you want, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, health, healing, whatever. You have to trust the higher consciousness that knows better than you what is best for you. See, this is the key. You cannot tell it how you want it to be. All you need to do is have the intent that let's say you want a healing. See? So that is the first, the intent. Second, enter the awareness space. Let's do the awareness space now. I'd love to see what you all make out. Okay, now close your eyes. I had a client last week, and I said to him, I said, watch the thoughts going by as if you're watching a parade. And then after a while, I said, I saw his face, and I wasn't sure whether he was doing it right. And I said, are you okay? He says, yes, I'm watching a parade. And he thought of a parade that he experienced before. See, we lose the point. No, watch thoughts going by. Forget the parade, okay? Forget people, because you start thinking about people. No. Watch thoughts going by, but see them as thoughts. Just watch them. Just be a total witness. Okay, let's do that for a minute. Now you've seen a few thoughts go by. Ask yourself this. I wonder what the next thought is going to be. It's going to be like, or where it's coming from. Ask that question, and then wait for the thought that comes up. And it will be an original thought most of the time. Okay, begin. Okay. Of course, we've done this very fast, but just to give you an idea. Okay, how many of you had actually waited for the next thought? Really? How many seconds did you think between thoughts? Just rough.
Yeah, after waiting,
Yeah,
it felt like a couple of seconds.
a couple of seconds, eh? Excellent. Excellent. Okay, anybody else?
I waited for the thought, but then I got into my mind thinking, well, I want a thought to come. And so I was in denial about what was arising because I was waiting for a good thought to come.
You're very honest. This is very important, though. You see how controlling the mind is? Oh, this is so funny. But you see why sharing is so beautiful? You see exactly all the little games we play. Okay, how many? Anybody else? There was a gap. There was a gap in between thoughts.
There was a gap, and then there was an experience, and then the mind tried to come in to speak about the experience. So that was, you know.
Okay, so there was no gap then. That you
there was
noticed.
no. There was a gap, and then just a feeling, and then the mind tried to come in to do something with the feeling.
Yeah, it always
You
does
know?
that. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, but the gap is actually when there's
nothing.
non-experience. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just nothing. That's pure awareness. You see, it's no big deal.
Yeah,
But
it's no big deal. But
if you were, I would love you to practice this at home. If you were to extend it to about 10 seconds gap between thoughts, you're going to experience energy you never thought you could have. You begin to feel so good for no reason at all. Because you enter that state that is forever. That state that is so true, so real to you, and you touch upon it. And the healing that comes with it is unbelievable. Everybody experiences something different. But to know the gap between thoughts is to get to know who you are, which is nothing, because you cannot name it. You cannot even talk about it. You see? But the results are something else again. You see? Because pure awareness is pure. It's a nothing. It's non-experience. But from it comes everything else. Comes the world we experience. See?
So even the search, for instance, to go back to your letters, even that search is like a rejection. It's almost like a self-rejection of sorts.
In a way, it's a self-rejection. Yeah. It's like a denial of self.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. Because you want to attain something, and so you're saying to yourself, "Gee, I want to wake up." Therefore, you're saying to yourself, "I'm so asleep.
Mm-hmm.
What's wrong with me?" You see, right? And the point is that everybody is awake, but they don't know it, because awake means that you are whole. You need do nothing. You need do nothing at all. That's why I love the Course in Miracles. So it says you need do nothing, which is so beautiful. And so we talked about intention. We talked about entering the gap, which is necessary. So you need to practice that before you can produce, really something worthwhile. It's really beautiful. And then the third one, gratitude, or saying thank you, or having a feeling of pure feeling. In other words, okay, is everything okay? Oh, has it? Oh, it could have stopped. It ran out of the tape, yeah.
No, it's still running.
Yeah.
Still running.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
It was.
Okay, well, this is part I have to cut out. So, first, we have to be intention. Then there has to be the awareness, the gap between thoughts. Okay, and this is something that you need to experience. Okay, so practice every day meditation, looking at the thoughts, and then just have moments that when it starts getting more than 5 seconds, okay, you'll begin to feel the energy. You begin to feel a whole new sharpness, aliveness. You'll even rejuvenate. Because you can feel the energy, and your health improves so much. It's something that you cannot put your finger on. But anyway. So then you become aware of the gap, and you can stop and do it any time. And then the third one is to feel a pure feeling, and to allow it. Now this is how to have a pure feeling. Let's do a pure feeling now. Okay. Now what is a pure feeling? It's a feeling that is not an emotion, but it's something that we want more than anything else. Peace is a pure feeling. Joy is a pure feeling. Happiness, true happiness, not happy because I got a new laptop or a new car. Okay? Happiness, just being happy because you are. Okay? Or contentment. Or feeling whole. You see? So right now, these are all pure feelings. Yeah?
Well, you say what you want, but isn't that just the desire, evolutionary desire to know yourself? Because that's who you are.
That's who you are. Well, you see when it says what you want is what you prefer, in the way you prefer the pure feeling to be. Okay, maybe I'm not using the right words. Okay, but you're already that. Now it's a matter of translating that. For example, let's do it now, okay? Do you mind going through? Okay, now close your eyes for a moment. Okay, now let's talk about some pure feelings, but remain with your eyes closed as I talk. Okay, pure feelings can be, again, I repeat, peace, love, happiness, joy, wholeness. Okay, all these, feeling unlimited, feeling fulfilled. Now pick one that really resonates with you. Pick one. Pick one of the ones that I mentioned. It has to be a pure feeling. Okay, good, you've picked one. Now that you've picked one, don't think about it, feel it. Feel it already in you right now. Feel it alive in you. That's the best way that you know how. Because it's already in you. It's a matter of allowing it right now. And remember, it's not thinking, it's feeling. If it begins to change form, that's okay too. Maybe the awareness, instead of choosing joy, it chooses contentment for you, because that might be best for you. So, if it changes, go with the change. However it expresses is perfectly all right. Remember that awareness is self-organizing. Okay, good. Now gently open your eyes. Okay. Can we share what we felt?
I chose peace, and then after you were talking about allow any morphing that may happen, like I have an idea of what peace is, but it was like not fitting the feeling. It's almost like I was trying to put it together, but it just kind of an opening happened where it just, first of all, it's hard to even put into words what I was feeling, but it just felt like compassion, peace, just melting, like just okay.
Right, and you felt it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And
That's the main thing. Not
Yes.
thinking about it,
Mhm.
felt it, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, any more sharing?
I had the same experience that I chose joy, and I felt joy at different times, and I tried to bring it forth, and it wouldn't come. And then when you said, allow anything that comes up, then I felt more of a contentment for the moment.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But it was more natural to the moment. But it was like you
Yeah.
said, you can't.
Awareness always chooses that which is more comfortable at the moment for
I
you.
like that.
And you really can't even put words to it.
Yeah.
It's just-
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Now, see, this is another also a stillness practice that you can do, and it's also very beautiful because it starts to awaken those dormant feelings that are inside you that are so pure and beautiful, your true nature, you see. And remember, any pure feeling that you pick up, it doesn't matter which one, they all melt and become one. They're all called love. It doesn't matter which one. They all have that same, quality of love in it.
That's so true, because I would like, okay, what is, like, I would examine the feeling, what is this? Okay, is this peace? Okay, is this content? It's like they're all like just, you can't pick one. If you pick one, you gotta pick the other ones too. It's just like, it's all like,
It's all blends.
it's weird. It's
Yeah,
like,
but you see, the mind has preferences.
Mhm.
So at the beginning, it's good to choose one and
Mhm.
then see what happens.
Mhm.
See, but the awareness, being self-organizing, it takes care of it.
Mhm.
See,
The one that stuck out for me was love, so I took that, and that created such a sensation in my body that I immediately went to joy. But then the joy didn't dissipate, but then the joy became a contentment that was. So it just unfolded that way. It just started
Mhm.
with one, and then who knows where it would end. But
yeah.
but it was very interesting how, because there were different sensations. I mean, there were different aspects of that,
Mm-hmm.
which was very interesting how it shifted and moved.
It shifts. And you allow it to shift. You don't control it at all, you see?
Mhm.
Yeah. And then what is best for you will happen. Remember that this energy that we are, it doesn't matter what you call it, it's a mystery. You never really can know who you really are, But it's always looking out for the best for you, what is best for you, what is good for you. You see, believe it or not, the ego tells us something different. But that's why we have to unlearn the ego. the ego part of us has been learned through many, many lifetimes, you see, of struggle and ignorance and primitive thinking and wars and hatred and separation. And it built up until it became a pattern, you see. But when we get to really to the core of it, we all want love. We all want to be happy. We all prefer to feel good because that is who we are. And once you start building on that, then you find your natural self. And you find your natural self has no limit. See, in its beauty.
Are you talking about intention?
Hmm?
You mentioned intention.
Intention
Is that trying to manifest something?
No, you don't try to manifest with intention.
Because that's ego trying to manifest.
Not really, no, because if you don't intend, because the self-organizing part takes care of how to go about it. But your intention is this, for example, right now you're not feeling good. Physically you're not feeling good. Okay? But a part of you wants to figure out, maybe I didn't eat something. Like, for example, 3 days ago, I didn't feel like going out. It was cold, rainy, and I looked at the cupboard and I see what the hell I've got. And then I found a can of refried beans. And so I thought, well, I'll just warm it up and eat it. And boy, was I sick. I had the whole thing. It's so acid, and I went to bed and I had so many dreams. So then I did this technique. And I got up with immense energy. It was wonderful. So yeah, but the intention was, the body is not feeling good, you see? So my intention is to return back to good. Okay. I don't cook very much.
Yeah.
So, so then, what was I saying? Yeah, so that's the intention. The intention is for you to heal it, because any imbalance is not natural. Okay, sickness is not natural, disease is not natural, unhappiness is not natural. Problems are not natural. Your natural state is unconditional love. That is your true state. And when we wake up to it and start to live from it, then we wonder how we could have lived otherwise. Okay, so the intent is to get back to wholeness. That's the intent. You don't have to phrase it how you want it to be. No, that's control. You just want to get back to wholeness. And the wholeness comes in the form of physical, mental, depends upon what you need, you see? Because it is self-organizing. It gives you what you need.
Sometimes you think you need something, but that's not what you need. So like Ho'oponopono, in your mind you think, I want something, but then you say, I'm sorry for having that thought. Please forgive me.
Yeah.
Thank you, and I love you.
Yeah.
Now, that allowing it may have nothing to do with what you think you need.
Yeah.
Something else happens that's not
when you follow, you see, Ho'oponopono is a very beautiful way of doing this technique, but it's only for beginners. You see, you start saying, I love you, I love you, I love you, because anybody can do that. And then you say, I'm sorry for what I've done, for judging you, for doing this, doing that. And then say, oh, thank you, thank you, thank you.
You have to keep repeating it.
And repeating it, yeah.
Oh.
And then what happens is that you actually send out that energy. But in time, when you get in touch with your awareness, you don't have to go through that process. It becomes it's a very natural flow, because this process that I'm mentioning to you has to be a recognition of your own perfection. That life wants only what is best for you. I'm not talking about daily life or the world. I'm talking about the life you really are. Always wants what is best for you. And so when you allow it, then what is best for you happens. See, I had my car, I couldn't drive it anymore. And that's another little miracle too. I couldn't drive it anymore because my peripheral vision has out of whack. So I left it there, but I still had to pay car insurance on it. So So then I thought, well, I'll give it to a person. She doesn't have a car. You know, she came a couple of times here. So I gave it to her. But she brought it back because she tried to open the back of the car and she couldn't hold it, so it almost cut off her hand. So anyway, so the point is that she brought it back. So when she brought it back, I said, oh, what am I going to do with this? You know, because it has a dent in front and it's an 86 Chevrolet Cavalier, you know, and it's a 4-door sedan. And so then I thought, okay, I'll go over and I'll go into my awareness. I became very, my intention is, what do I do with the car? Okay, that's fine. Well, actually 2 days later, I was coming home from shopping. And the young guy was looking at my car. And I said, you know, and it's not the best looking car on the lot. But it runs beautifully. It's got a beautiful engine. So he said to me, I said, oh, you're interested in the car? He said, well, I'll tell you. He says, I had a Chevrolet Cavalier, but last week I ran into an accident and the car was totaled. But I love this car, even though it's very old, because nothing ever goes wrong with it. And I said, well, if you want it, you can have it, you know. And he said, well, how much, you know, do you want me to pay for it? And I said, out of the blue, $600. So I said, okay. He went home, got me the $600. You see how, you know, like when you tune in, always what is best for you will come. It will always happen. Yeah, it's wonderful. Okay. Okay.
I asked Bert, what is actually a closed heart?
A closed heart is you're so caught in your ego that you're afraid of being hurt, afraid of being controlled. You can't give yourself because you're going to get hurt. You're going to be rejected. You're not going to be loved, or people are, you know, they're going to take advantage of you, or whatever the ego comes up with. You see, in other words, you're into self-protection and self-defense. So you close your heart so that you don't get hurt anymore, but you die inside. You see, so that's what a closed heart is. And an open heart is what you all have here. You wouldn't be coming here if you didn't have an open heart. It's as simple as that. You see? Yeah. And an open heart is an innocence. It's a trust. See, when we were doing this, and immediately you ran and you came here. I mean, that's an open heart. That's very beautiful. You see, that there's an innocence of beauty about that. You see? You see, because we live in a world where everybody mistrusts everybody else. They're going to take advantage of me. This is going to happen. They're going to cheat me. You know, business, politics, all these are based on me, gain. So when you are in this world, you begin to think like that. You become defensive. But when you get in touch with who you are, it's a whole new world opens up. And you begin to see in a new way, and your heart opens. It says, oh, people are not greedy. People are not bad. They just don't know any better. And so they try to grab some happiness. But of course it never comes as happiness. Because you cannot take. You can only give. You see, that's what love is. Love is a giving. Okay. Namaste.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's beautiful.
Okay.